All right, good afternoon, everybody. How are we all doing? We've got a little bit of movement in the NFL, and, well, none of it involves the Seahawks, but I'd say a lot of it pertains to the Seahawks. So let's take a little bit of time to process the moves that have been made this morning. So, a lot of it has to do with quarterbacks, so we're going to start there. First, we have resolution on the Matt Ryan situation. Um, the Falcons went for Deshaun Watson. They struck out, and they were left holding an aging, expensive quarterback who now knew that the team wasn't really enamored with him anymore. So rather than trying to make amends for that, they decided to move him, and they have decided to move him to the Indianapolis Colts. So Matt Ryan will be the Colts quarterback in 2022, and all the Falcons got for it was a third round pick. And the reason why I say that's all they got is a lot of people, myself included, expected them to get more because, as it turns out, they're going to be eating about $40 million in dead money this year to move Matt Ryan, which is actually less than his cap hit. So, in a way, they are saving like $9 million, but $40 million dead is by a significant amount the most dead money any team has ever taken on for one player. So there were some people, and if I knew about this dead cap situation, I would have been with them, who thought Matt Ryan would have been close to a first round pick. Now, third round pick is not bad, and I know there were some people who thought about Matt Ryan maybe being a solution for the Seahawks, but to me, between him being a quarterback who has played his whole career in a dome and his age and his contract, I wasn't really into it. Now, we've also learned that Indy has actually redone Matt Ryan's contract to give him more guaranteed money, which puts me off it even more. If you needed to actually give him extra money to come to Seattle, that's something I really wouldn't have been into. But nevertheless, however you may feel about it, Matt Ryan not coming to Seattle, another veteran stopgap option off the board. And he wasn't the only one to come off the board. We also had Jameis Winston, not that long ago, re-signing with the Saints as expected. A lot of money, actually. $28 million over 2 years. So the injury did not really hurt his earning potential because I think last year he was making a few million. So he impressed with them enough, and they're bringing him back at a rate of $14 million a year, which I was not really expecting that whatsoever. But yeah, so Jameis Winston back in New Orleans, another option off the board. So if you're the Seahawks and you're still thinking about that veteran stopgap, the options are starting to get a little more shallow. Maybe you're thinking Jimmy Garoppolo because it looks like the Niners might have to just straight cut him at this point because nobody's trading for him, it seems like. You've got, maybe you could go get Marcus Mariota out of free agency. He would be a fun option. I think he would be a perfectly competent option, I believe. He's actually made the playoffs before as a starter, so if it's Mariota, that would be all right by me. Probably some other guys too, like for instance, if the Panthers decide to draft a quarterback in this upcoming draft, then you may very well see Sam Darnold shake free. If the Lions draft a quarterback, they might let Jared Goff go. And I'm going to spend a couple of minutes on this one because this one's been getting some buzz. Baker Mayfield. And here's an interesting little bit of news that dropped this morning about Baker Mayfield. Per Adam Schefter, the Browns had conversation with a team, we don't know which team, about Baker Mayfield. And the team asked for a pick from the Browns to take Mayfield's contract. So it's basically the thing that I was talking about, where if you want to get rid of a player with a significant contract and not a whole lot of value, you might need to pay the team to take them. I talked about it with Goff. I talked about it with maybe one or two other guys, but Baker Mayfield may very well be in that category as well. Added, if anyone thinks they're going to get a high premium pick for Baker Mayfield, they're mistaken. So this may very well play out in such a way. Now that the Colts are off the board for Baker, the Seahawks might legitimately get paid to take Baker Mayfield. Who else is going to be bidding for him at this point? Indy just got their quarterback. Reportedly, the Seahawks and Colts were the only teams that had any real leg to stand on in the Baker Mayfield sweepstakes. So I think that if you could get Baker Mayfield and get the Browns to throw in even a fifth round pick, that's pretty good. And you really now might have the leverage to make that happen. They can't keep Baker Mayfield on that roster. No way, no how. They already signed Watson's backup. They got, I think, Brissett, and they dealt Case Keenum. So Baker has no place on that roster. It would not surprise me if we did it, and if we get paid to do it, then I'm cool with it, because I'm assuming you don't extend him. It's the last year of his deal. It's like 18, 19 million that you're taking on. And then if he doesn't work out for you, and he probably won't, then you just let him go at the end of the year and can move on with whatever your next plan is. If you want to do a little bit better than Drew Lock, I actually think this is becoming a more viable solution. So yeah. Final thing I want to go over is not QB related, but it does pertain to the Seahawks. Trent Brown is gone. He did not sign with Seattle. He spent a couple days here apparently, but ultimately decided to go back to the Patriots on a 2-year deal. So mixed thoughts here. Mixed thoughts on this one. I thought we were going to get Trent Brown. I was excited to get him. I think he has the potential to be a great player. I think he has been a great player, one of the best right tackles in the league for some time now. There were concerns with him, right? The injuries. There was some concern about his passion for the game. Some of his mentality was not considered to be great. But I think that at the end of the day, you do have to look at this team and wonder, what is he going to be protecting, right? Because there's a very good chance that Drew Lock is our starting quarterback this year. Do we really want to build the Great Wall of China for a quarterback like Drew Lock? Is that really a good expenditure of our assets? I don't know, especially because when you look at Trent Brown, yeah, he's not old, but he is a veteran in his prime. You're getting a guy for his best years to block for you when you don't exactly have a quarterback that's worthy of being blocked for. And I know that sounds kind of cold and indifferent to a Drew Lock maybe, but I just don't see it with him. I don't think we're winning games with him no matter what you give him up front. So I'm kind of have mixed thoughts on this. It is troubling to me that Trent Brown spent a few days in Seattle and then just scurried back off to New England. It kind of feeds into that narrative of the idea that a lot of players don't really want to play here. And I understand that playing for Bill Belichick in New England is probably a lot more appealing than playing for Pete Carroll in Seattle. That's just is what it is. I mean, that's not even a knock against Carroll because Belichick is Belichick, but the fact that Trent Brown was courting us and then went back to New England and signed a not long-term deal anyway. It's not like we only offered him 2 years and New England came back with 4. And then he was like, I can't pass that up. No, he got 2 years. I would have given him 2 years, and I'm sure this team would have given him 2 years. So, on the one hand, that part of it is kind of deflating. On the other hand, if we're going to be throwing this season away anyway, or at the very least kind of building up and not really going for a Super Bowl this year, then you may as well throw Jake Curhan out there and see what's up. Give him a full year to show what he can do. And if he can do it, then you've hit the jackpot. If not, then next year you can go find a guy. Plus, by the way, there are some right tackles in this draft who are really appealing. So I don't want to diminish that factor as well. All right, that's it for this little breaking news segment. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think down below.